We talk, and one of the things we talked about was the shortage of foodstuff. I saw people who were willing to die just to free Jamaica at that time, because the people felt that they were in bondage. There are people who left Jamaica, who died abroad, very, very unhappy and very sad. There are people who still live abroad, who swear they'd never come back to Jamaica because it was such a bad experience for them. It was the downfall. I'm telling you, it was a period where people hated him. They really hated him.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Prime Minister, Edward George Bianca,
800 people died in the run-up to the bloody 1980 election. Manley was on the ropes. In a bitter contest, he finally conceded to his rival, Edward Seaga.
Had he not conceded, Jamaica's future today would have been completely different. For one thing, the United States would have overtly entered Jamaica, I'm almost certain. We would have a completely different history. The fact that he conceded allowed him to come again to fight another day.
America breathed a sigh of relief as Edward Seaga put the ghost of socialism to rest.
There was just $11 million in the Bank of Jamaica when we took over. We wanted, first of all, to restore the bridges that had been burnt by Manley with our traditional partners.
For some people it was like heaven on earth. Things had gone back to normal. All this talk about change and about blackness and about better and so on was eliminated, and we were back to the 60s where we should always have been. Money would flow from the United States, investment would flow, and life would be as it should be.
The US lavished over $200 million of aid on Seaga's government. With this new investment, business began to flourish.
In the 80s, the atmosphere was more pro-business, and consequently you had a lot of remigration. People coming back home, business people, some professionals. But I think what is really important is that there's very, very much a good atmosphere of encouraging foreign investment. It's stable. The people that you can work with are available.
Butch Stewart became a successful entrepreneur in tourism, pioneering the Sandals Resort and later taking over the national airline. But his homegrown success was exceptional. Most of the new businesses which sprung up in Jamaica were owned by foreigners. Multinationals flooded in. Brands and chains began to dominate the place. The land of jerk chicken was sold the Kentucky Dream.
Mr. Seaga was a fantastic salesman. He had the respect internationally. And so he was able to convince the private sector, both locally and overseas, to invest in Jamaica. He had programs, he had good policies.
On the same tarmac that Fidel had once embraced his comrade Michael Manley, Ronald Reagan heralded a new alliance between Jamaica and Washington.
The success of our venture depends on cooperation. And cooperation is easier between friends who share the same ideals.
The Reagan administration had an excellent relationship with Mr. Seaga, with Jamaica.
Thank you all very much.
It was a wonderful feeling because to me it made the statement that yes, Jamaica had once again arrived. We had once again been accepted into the international arena. And we got a lot of assistance through that administration.
despite generous aid, Siaga failed to grow the economy or develop new industry. In 1989, a reformed Michael Manley was returned to power, but now his revolutionary zeal was gone.
I am a much wiser and more experienced man. So I don't know if that's new, but you know, we all have to grow, we all have to develop. I think I have.
The broad majority of people who voted for him expected that he would resume the policies of social reform which had begun in the 1970s, and were sorely disappointed when they were very different.
Michael no longer had the stomach for the fight. His second coming lasted just 3 years. The 5-time married Michael faced a more personal battle that none of his turbulent years in power could prepare him for. He discovered he was dying of cancer.
He had this enormous fear of death, and I would say right up until his last breath, he would have done anything to live.
Michael Manley died aged 72 in March 1997. Thousands mourned the man they called Joshua.
The person who received the greatest, overwhelmingly greatest applause at the funeral was Fidel Castro. The slogan which one person uttered at the funeral, that Fidel is the only surviving Don, meaning Michael was a Don, that despite your complete dominance of the world, that there is somebody who can thumb their nose at you.
We were just so thrilled because we knew how much it would mean to Daddy and how right it was that he had stood by Fidel no matter the price he paid, and that in death Fidel had come to say goodbye. That meant a lot to us.
He was criticized a lot by his own social class who felt he had betrayed them, and he used to really take it to heart. I think when I look back on it, he just longed to be loved again. By his own class, by, people he grew up with, his friends. He had the love of the masses. But I think he was always deeply hurt that his own social class couldn't see what it was he was trying to do.
After Michael died, Jamaica finally elected a leader that didn't come from the brown or mixed classes. Prime Minister P.J. Patterson represents a new strata of Jamaican society which is just finding its feet.
There's a new middle class in Jamaica, which is a direct product of this tremendous social movement which took place in the 1970s, which got opportunities because of Manley's regime, who came up through the ranks, who managed to get an education through the free education programs under Michael and university education too, and who took over.
The darker skinned Jamaican has become more confident and has become more domineering, and will not put up with a lot of what would take place in the earlier days.
The experience of the Jamaican people has been exceptionally rich. Experience in terms of oppression, experience in terms of reform, experience in terms of culture, in sport, broadly, highly experienced people. And therefore, we are now on the verge of that experience being brought to bear on the direction of the country.
Jamaicans essentially are people who want their freedom, and they want to retain their freedom, and they will die fighting for their freedom.
From the university to the sports field, great men and women in arts, education and politics have their roots here. A small island of some 2.5 million people has made a big impact overseas. Like many with roots in Jamaica, I find myself wondering though, what would have happened if Manley's vision had succeeded? Would he have made Jamaica a beacon to other post-colonial societies and the envy of the Caribbean?
He would have had his touchstone of equality, and we would have had a just society where every man and woman had an equal opportunity and their vote, a roof over their head, fair wages. I think the sad thing is that they race so hard and they genuinely move mountains, and I honestly believe we almost made it.
From its Jamaican origins to its place in mainstream.
So I want to say welcome to XXL Zone Radio. I'm Tony Lloyd, and we're here with a special feature call-in with a WhatsApp call-in with DJ Junkie. We're going to get to know the youth a little bit. You see him feature right here on Zone Radio, and you've heard his mixtapes. You may have seen him on his music on SoundCloud, or you see his music feature in many different areas on various platforms. You see him feature right here on MediaZone.com because his mixtape is one of the among the tapes that we feature right here on XXL Zone Radio. But who is DJ Junkie? I mean, who knows who this youth is? I mean, what is this youth background? Hey, who knows? You know them way there, because so this is a behind the music, a special extension of What Up, where as hosted by myself for the first time, doing of course an interview. So a little jitters, but definitely first time jitters, but I think I'm Junkie and I communicate a lot, so no need to be nervous, of course, because he's not a stranger. This youth is a youth where say MediaZone.com, this is a youth where say What Up, this is a youth where say Zone. You see me I say? So I want to say DJ Junkie, bless up my brother, how you do?
Bless up, what my family?
Yeah, man, I'm there and things. So am I coming through clear?
Yeah.
All right, good. All right, so yeah, man. So, Junkie, tell me a little bit about who is DJ Junkie. You see me I say, what the man? This is before the music. Tell me what was it? Who were you as a youth coming up and so forth? I just want to know who Junkie was as a youth coming up.
Well, still don't know so Junkie as a youth were enjoyment, article, you don't know, family youth, friend youth, I love them around my brethren, them, my family, never really take up music them time there yet, but the kind of influence towards music them time there, so, growing up, coming out of the industry, I learned about the whole music thing, but more educate, and, get everything together to that stage right now,
Same, yeah. Get your king. So tell me a little bit about which part of Jamaica you hail from, Junkie?
Well, I don't know, say Saint and Ochi. Originated from, So then I move from Saint and move from Ochi, then I go Brownstown, go live same place in the Saint and near Key Valley, Chilani and them place there. Renewable Bay,
Yeah man.